Welcome back for the next part of Smart Contract Development with Osmosis. In this part, we will talk about the front-end development. Before we start developing our front-end, you need to have the smart contract deployed on the blockchain already, and you also need to install the Kepler wallet extension on your Google Chrome to be able to use the front-end provided here. Now let's see what Beaker has provided for us inside the front-end folder. We expand it, and you will see a Next.js project. As you can see, this uses the Next script and multiple files. Now we will take a look in some of the important ones. The first one is the pages. We expand it and we will see two files, the app.tsx and index.tsx. The app will simply be the entry point for our application, and the index is where we have the core part of our application in. This component, the first one, the home page, will be the counterexample, as you can see, which does interact on the contract by itself. It uses the useCount hook right here to interact with the smart contract, which the useCount hook also store inside the /API/counter file. We will look into detail of this file later on, but for now we'll skip it and explore on the author folder instead. The next one is the .beaker folder. This folder, we have two subfiles, the state.json and state.local.json. This file should be identical. It will be generated automatically when you deploy your smart contract, and you will get the contract address right here. And this is the name of the key, the object key, where you should access your address. The next important one is the lib folder. Each will contain 4 files, but 3 of important. We have the client.ts, config.ts, and state.ts. Let's look at client.ts first. This one will be interacting with our wallet, the Kepler wallet. You don't need to modify this file. The next one is the config. It will be connecting to the blockchain, the chain ID, and the RPC endpoint. And the next one is the most important one, the state.ts. It will get the smart contract address for us, which we get from the get state, which we get from the process env from the state file as well. This is where you will get your smart contract address right here. But as you can see here, .default is not defined because we don't have the property on the state.ts file. You need to modify that to be this key right here. In this case, my first Beaker contract. In the future, by the time this tutorial is released, you should not see this error. It should be generated automatically. Hit save. Oh, sorry, we don't need the dot right here. And this state file should be fixed and ready to be interacted with. After you have learned about the front-end structure that Beaker has provided for us, we can start coding our own front-end. For the ease of this project, we have provided the GitHub link for you to copy this part and replace the front-end folder on your project. After you have replaced that, you should run the npm install command to get the project up and running with the required node module. After that, we can continue. Now, after you have cloned the front-end project we have provided for you, we will have a little bit of the tour to see what we have provided. The first one is the pages folder right here. We have modified the index.tsx file to be the to-do contract. It is ready to be used, but you must modify some of the components. Mainly on the to-do we have listed here to be the smart contract interaction, where we will code it later on. And the next one is the interface folder, which we have the to-do interface, which is essentially the same thing as the one we have in the Rust smart contract we have coded earlier. Note that the naming should be in the snake case to make it possible to the interaction message itself. The next one is the component folder. We have the to-do item, which is essentially a to-do item, and the add to-do item, which is the form for adding to-do to the smart contract. And that's it for the overview. As I have promised earlier, we will go into detail how the front end can interact to our smart contract. We will look into the example that the beaker has provided for us, the counter example. We will open the API, go to counter.ts file, and open it. We will see three functions here: the get count, increase, and use count. For the get count, we will have two important functions. The first one is the get client, which is to get the client, get the wallet of our. And the next important function is the query contract smart, which used to query the smart contract. It takes two parameters. The first one is the contract address, which we can get by using the get contract address function. And the next one is the get count, which is the query message. For the increase, which will dispatch the execute message, will be a little bit different. First, the client needs to be the signing client. So we use the get signing client to get that type of client. And we can call the execute, which will take four parameters. The first one is the get address. This one we use to get the address of our wallet to prove the ownership. The next one is the contract address, using the same function like the get count one. And the next one is the execute message. In this case, it is the increment message. And the last one here is the gas fee. We will leave this as auto for now. And when we have implemented these two functions, we will need to pass it inside the use count hook, which inside use the use SWR hook to do the query stuff and handling the data fetching. And we will return these two functions, the increase and the get count, by the return cross right here. The count here can get from the data that use SWR has provided for us, the error by the use SWR, and the increase. We will pass the increase function inside the mutate, and we can use that on our front end. And that is the overview for the example they have for us. So to interact with our to-do smart contract, we will copy this example right here and modify it. So do Control-A, Control-C, and then create a new file right here called todo.ts and paste the content here. First, we will modify the get count to be get to do instead. Type in get to do and change this from get count to be get to do's because we have specified like so inside our smart contract. The next part is the increase function. We will change this to be the add function for adding to do. So let's call it add to do. And change this execution message to be the add to do one. So we have the add, and inside that we will have to do, called to do. We will also need to take in a single to do right from here with a type of to do. Import it from the interface, right, like so. And that's for the add to do. We also need two more functions, which is the update to do and reset to do. So paste this two times. The first time we change this to be update to do, and change this add to be update. And for the reset to do, we will change this to be reset, and it takes no parameter. So we'll delete this to do right here. Sorry. And for the to do right here, we don't need it as well. And for the last one, the use count hook, we will change it to the use to do hook instead. And change this function to be get to do. We have changed it already because we use the refactor. And this one you can pass anything to make it unique. So I'm going to change this to be to do, just like that. We have data error and mutate, like so. We will also need to change this. Add author functionality, mainly the add to do, update to do, and reset to do here as well. But first, we will change this data.count to be data.todo, and this one will be, sorry, to do with the S, and this one to be to do with the S as well. And increase, we will change to the add to do. We will copy and paste this 2 more times. Change this one to update to do, and update to do, and this one to be the reset to do, and reset to do, like so. Oh, also don't forget to pass in the to do from here as well. Change this one from the function reference to use the callback style instead to be able to pass the to do from the parameter to there. Also the same thing for the update to do. For reset to do, we don't need to pass anything, so we will leave it like so. And that is it for the API part for our smart contract. Now let's hook up our front end with the API we have created earlier to make it interactable with the smart contract. First, we will go to the pages file index.ts and replace it to do with the use to do hook we have created earlier. So we will do const, leave it right there, and do the use to do, import it from here, like so, and we will destructure this. Mainly we will get to do's, add to do, error, reset to do, and update to do. Sorry for the typo. And as you can see earlier, we have this to do laying multiple page. We will pass this function inside that to do. So first we have the add to do. We need to pass this right here as a callback for the add to do item. And the next one is the reset to do here. So we remove this and pass it in as reset to do. Also, since this one will be a promise, we will need to await and do the try catch. You can also do .then .catch as well, but for me, I will use the try catch. It says a thing right here. You await and we'll do try, and then catch error. We will simply console log that for now. Error, and finally, we want to set loading to false. Let's move it inside here as well. This one we don't need to do anything, but this one we also do the same thing, the update to do here. We have a scene right here. It also be promise, so we do await, update to do, pass in the to do, and the same thing, try catch thing. Try, catch, error, just console log that, and finally move these 2 lines to the try block and move this one into the finally block. As you can see here, it showed that the try script has shown that this has any type. We will simply do the type annotation to remove the error, and it should be fixed. For the index, it will be an off number type, like so. And we have finally finished the first file. The error, you don't need to use this right here. You can also remove that from here, or you can try to do the locking error or show the error on front end as well. Now let's move on to the next file. The next file that needs to be modified is the add to do item component. So expand the component folder, go inside the add to do item, and we will use the add to do function right here. So let's go down, see this to do right here. We will remove this and do the add to do, and we will also pass in the to do item as well. Also, same thing, await, and wrap this one with try catch block. So we do try catch error, just console log, and finally, sorry for that. Move this one here, this two one on top, this one inside here as well. Hit save. And that's it for this file. Now you should be able to interact with the smart contract on our front end. So let's try that out next. So to test our front end, first you should do the npm install if you haven't done it already. But if you have done that, you can do npm run dev and hit enter, wait a little bit, and this string will show up, and you need to go to localhost 3000 on your Google Chrome. I have done that already. I'm going to hit refresh, wait for a little bit, and the UI will show up. You should see there is no to do here because you have the new contract. Click open here to open the form, and let's type in something such as test to do, and set the due date to, let's say, 19, and do the add to do here. Wait a little bit and you will see it pop up like this. You can validate the contract and hit approve if you want to pay for this, and execute the contract and hit reject if not. For now, we hit approve. And you will see here that our to-do has been sent to the smart contract and return this data to us. You can also try to toggle this to-do done and not done by clicking here as well. Right now, it is not done yet. And if you click, it should send the update to the smart contract itself to change this to-do to be done. Let's validate that. Well, it doesn't seem right. I'm going to hit reject and we will go back to our code just for a little bit. So go to the page and go to the update to do. Right here. Oh, sorry, you shouldn't pass the to do in right here. You should pass in the structure to do and change the due is done to be not to do dot is done to toggle it back. Hit save and we go back. Refresh one time just to be sure. And wait a little bit. And when we hit not done, this time it should be sent the is done to be true to the smart contract. Like so. This time this is correct, so we will hit approve. Now it is done. So let's add a few more to do. Test 2. And the next one we will try to remove all the to do. We have the second one, the third one. And now we have 3 to do. When we hit remove all to do, it should send the reset message to the smart contract and remove all to do for us. So we will get the brand new state. Send the reset message, approve. Wait a little bit. And now we have nothing to do again. And that's it for the front end part of smart contract development with Custom Wasm. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. We will try our best to answer those questions. And if you have any bugs or problem, please try to follow the tutorial along for the second times and try to see if there's any mistake you've made and try to correct that. Thank you for watching.